Hail and well met, traveler. I see you have arrived from beyond the rift. Truly, you have arrived at the most fortuitous of times, for I was running a bit late, and now bid you welcome into the wonderful world of Dissidia. Okay, but no, seriously. Welcome everybody. I'm Carmine Phlegathon, the most cursed and powerful VTuber. He who is cursed under the red moon of fate. He who wields a demon in his right arm. That is me. Welcome Sleipnir, Fakeroo. Welcome Scarecrow JLD. Welcome Prychan. Welcome everybody. We're here to play one of the best of the Final Fantasy games. And definitely one that's in the category of Final Fantasy game that celebrates the Final Fantasy series. It's Dissidia Duodecim, the best Dissidia game. Because I am Carmine, and I am only for the best. But yeah, no, we play Dissidia pretty regularly, to the point where I've gone through all of Duodecim's Scenario 12 and Scenario 13 on stream, on scheduled stream. And that's not counting all of the gorillas. It's genuinely a game that I've been playing almost since the start of my VTuber career. So I figured, in this incredibly busy week, in which I can't do like regular weekend streams because, you know, Christmas, let's throw some Dissidia in the mix. Final Fantasy. But yeah. Oh, Scarecrow. Big Sam. Do you remember Do you remember the heady days of like 2015 or so when like Massive Explosion, like the OST just got released and Dissidia NT wasn't like out yet, we weren't playing it yet, and like I was so excited. I was so excited for a new Dissidia game, and it's a shame what happened. I really wish that like it was like that there was support for something like Duodecim nowadays. I mean, maybe after like. The real thing is that Team Ninja made it, whereas Duodecim was made by Square Enix in-house, so I don't even know what team you would get to do Dissidia nowadays. But yeah, for those who are unaware, you know, Dissidia, it's a fighting game. Square Enix made it in-house, and then they made Duodecim, which is a sequel, and then they made NT, which was contracted out to Team Ninja, who is a separate developer. 3x3 Arcade! What a great move for this incredibly good hybrid single player, or you know, 1v1 fighting RPG. Oh, what's that? You've massively reduced the complexity of the RPG elements and character customization? Designed explicitly to emulate the Advent Children fights? Well, that's kind of weird, because Advent Children fights are awesome. And NT is just kind of lame. But yeah, I don't want to dig on NT too much because I hear it does have a pretty okay story with some nice character moments. Oh. Wow, was that actually why they made Dissidia? Because like, was that why they made 13 and 012? Because like, bang up job. Oh, that's why there's a wall rush mechanic. That's why there's a wall rush mechanic, because Tifa vs. Laws. Oh yes, it's all coming together. But yeah, yeah. Let's actually get onto the game though, or I'm just going to stand here talking about it for all time. But yeah, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's having a good day. I am also really sorry for being a bit late, but we'll still go for around the same time, so it should be fine. Where is it? Bat. Oh. Ba. Audio. I have to click so many things. It's unfair. It's unfair the number of things I need to click to get everything working. Okay. There we go. Everything is fine now. Alright. Nothing has exploded. I've performed admirably under pressure. Once again. I touched Streamlabs and didn't blow anything up. This is a national triumph. It's 5 AM and you're ready for Carmine. Pride-chan, are you sure that like you're ready? Why are you up at 5 AM? I hope you're not like. Then again, I have stayed up to 5 AM many times myself. So if you're like staying up late instead of being an early riser, time for Carmine to go feral. I'm not touching feral chaos with a 10-foot pole. I'm actually a bit weird compared to how I usually am. Let me just modify myself. There we go. This is a much more genuine Carmine experience. Feral chaos is fun. I'm not good at video games. No. You know what? Listen. You know what time it always is when it comes to a Dissidia stream? It's time for the Mognet. You can't possibly start a Dissidia stream without the Mognet. And every time, because there's like a week at least between Dissidia streams, every time there's like, oh, you've spent so much time away, have 300 PP. Feels like a bit of a scam. The letters are so nice. Oh right, I recommended the barbecue plate at Walmart to this Moogle, I think. Yep, PP. Welcome, Mario Rossi Penguin. Welcome. Playing some Dissidia. You don't get to see very many Moogles on this planet unless you use materia. Whatever, I'm off to see the sights. This is true! Moogles aren't in the setting of FF7 except for the Chocomog summon and Kate Sith. So Moogles are very much a fictional character in stuff like the Gold Source's Moogle game, Moogle Flight. But actually, I did like how 7 Remake handled that. I've cleared the Yuffie DLC thingamajig because it came out on PC now, and I cleared it yesterday, and they really like had a lot more Moogle stuff, Moogle merch in there, and it's always nice to see our fluffy friends represented, you know, in a Final Fantasy game. They're just, it's nice to see them. Just like a Chocobo. I tried so hard. I'd taken a drink. I took a drink, and then that happened, and I'm sorry. I tried to stop it from happening. So, now that I don't sound like I'm dying, I feel like I'm being pushed in a very particular direction. And that direction is to go to the Honeybee Inn, which, to be fair, in the remake timeline, has really, really sick dance performances. Why would you not want to go? Are we going to trick this Moogle into a brothel? I mean, listen, having gone into the Honeybee Inn in FF7, like original, it's not a very good brothel. It's not a very good brothel, although, like, 50% of that is probably on Cloud for being insane, you know? Marco poisoning and whatnot. Anyway, I guess whatever option we pick doesn't really matter. Welcome, welcome, Hood Royal. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just, it's not very high budget seeming, which is weird. But obviously there's a lot of cut content around the Honeybee Inn. The muscle course. I really liked what they did it in the remake, because they totally, like, flipped it while still making the Honeybee Inn weird as all hell. We'll get to that when I want to try and do 2 streams of Ragnarok and the remake over the next week each, to try and catch up for not being able to do them this week, because, you know, Christmas. Have I finished the story already? Have I? Oh, look at that! It's all completed! Oh, look at that! Done! 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 Welcome, welcome, Mithril Diggy. Welcome, welcome. So, have I beaten FC? Which one is FC? We have a lot of reports to do, and we haven't done Confessions of the Creator. Oh, Feral Chaos. Of course, I'm an idiot. I'm not sure we have Feral Chaos unlocked. I think we just have regular Chaos. And I don't think we bought him from the PP store. Here, look. Chaos, CPU, 90 points. Haven't bought him. He'll mess up my lovely, although we could use him in original quests, but he will mess up my lovely character select screen. Why? Because Chaos is a... I mean, I don't want to go all Jack Garland on you, but, heck Chaos! Because I'm a casual, Hood Royal. Because I'm a casual. I'm a filthy, filthy casual. So I'll tell you what, we'll start it up with some... I'm feeling like doing some warm-ups. Pick a character, any character, and we'll buy an outfit for them from the PP catalog. And go a couple rounds. Laguna, you say? You picked my main. So we might go with... Oh, this is simultaneous. These are a lot of characters. I can't play all characters at once, but alright, let's go through them. I think we've already got Laguna gear. Do we not already have Laguna gear? Where is it? Yeah, Alt 1 and 2. It's the PP catalog. Shantoto. We've got Shantoto, right? Yep. I don't want to use the Emperor. Everyone is like Alt is like Alt 2 Laguna. I like Alt 1 Laguna. I love Laguna in his Galbadian soldier uniform. Maybe that's just me. To be fair, we haven't played much Shantoto though. Especially because I don't play a lot of FF11. I think Zidane Zolt is the Canary gear, right? No Emperor? We've got Emperor. I'm trying to figure out, because you all threw a lot of suggestions at me. I should be decisive. I don't want to play the Emperor though, because I hate him. I hate him in his traps, and his trappity traps. Reject traps. Yeah, Zidane has Navy, Gilet, and Pluto uniform. What about Gabrant? Oh. You know what? We do have Captain's gear for Gabrant. You want to just play some Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca for a quick second? Hey, Vaughn! Hey, Vaughn! Hey, Vaughn! You want to get beaten up by a party member? Let's go!
I will not fail again.
Well, that was just rude. That was also rude. The thing about Gabranth is that when he's in EX mode, his bravery attacks also get a massive boost. It's night and day, I'm telling you. Oh no, Leviathan, no you don't. No, I can't land an HP attack, no! Ah! I don't want to target your dumb assist! Oh, Sleipnir Fakery, you requested an incantation of power, very well. After this battle. Because I can't focus. Well, yeah, they nerfed EX modes, especially considering they added assists in.
Hatred is what drives me. Away you go.
Do I think Balthier or Ash would have made a better rep for FF12 rep in Duodecim? Listen. Regardless of anyone's opinions, Vaughn is technically the protagonist of Final Fantasy XII. Even if he's like less relevant to the story, he is the dude. He is the designated dude.
An expected verdict.
And honestly, I don't have that much ire against Vaughn. Ooh, new move. Already we get the moves. Alright, now the incantation of power. Sleipnir Fakeru, here is your incantation of power. Let the earth crumble beneath your feet. Let all break away. Come forth, great Gaia, Gigantomachia! Does the music sound odd to anyone, or is it me? I mean, it is PSP music. The music sounds distorted? I honestly don't know what could be causing that. To be fair, the fight was easy because they were at the same level as me, and it ran at an average CPU strength. So let's add that. Oh no, we can't, can we? Wait, what? Oh. Gaia breaches only in EX mode. Can't touch it. Yeah, I would guess that the leveling curve for Dissidia, not every character is created equal. A lot of the Chaos Warriors seem to be a bit more wimpy at earlier levels, I guess. Especially X-Death. But I'll tell you what, let's go through some reports. While we're just doing randomly whatever. Check each report, look for the blue. Aha! Arcane is high enough level. Oh, this is about how, like, Kane is... Oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah, Onion Knight early levels doesn't have a lot of kit tools. I mentioned it the very first time I streamed Duodecim, and I did the story, but the fact that, like, Kane is hanging out with Lightning and Yuna and such, this game is just pure fan service, and I love it so much. Good morning, Neko Carmen. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. I've already said, Hood Royal, I am a casual. You must needs accept that, if you are to accept me for who I am. Also, I don't know how to unlock Feral Chaos. Anyway, it's time to fight X-Death. Ooh, is Goldman's gonna be my assist? Yeah, come on, come on, come on.
I will prevail.
Hi, Barts. No, well, how do I fight Feral Chaos then? How do I fight Chaos then? Feral Chaos then? If to unlock him I have to fight him. Listen, this is the Lance of the Covenant, Bart, okay? You just don't get it. The LOL DRG? What does that mean? Look at this character design. It's a mono art. It's a mono art rendered in Nomura style. It's so crazy. The LOL DRG memes from FF14. I know Dragoons in 14 are referred to as floor tanks. And that, like, you know, with their jumps and animation locks, they have a high fatality rate. But I don't recall a specific LOL meme. But yeah, speaking of 14, it actually has a really, like, it's done a really great job. Especially in, like, recent expansions. But, like, I think maybe since the beginning of, translating, maybe just since Realm Reborn, translating Amano's artwork into 3D. I think they've done a fantastic job of that. So, like, this is it's interesting because this is a different take on it. It's a mono artwork transformed into a Nomura design, as opposed to just making, and then put in 3D, as opposed to just taking a mono art and making it in 3D. Yeah, I know exactly what you guys are talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, Slepnia. Yeah, I do have a Dragoon on my main character. Not my VTuber character, though. I needed a physical DPS for the role quest, but I still haven't gone through all of them yet, because, you know, time. Kane isn't that much of a jobber, though. I mean, a bit, I suppose. But he's like Riku, fan favorite. Nomura especially likes him. That's why he's in Dissidia 012. But I mean, listen, all Dragoons are super cool. This is just a fact. If you have the surname Highwind, you're cool. I mean, saying their games is a bit of a stretch, Mithril Diggy, when there's only one game, Final Fantasy game, that uses it. And it's not even for the entirety of the game, it's just for like 1 or 2 characters. To be fair, Cecil jobs to Titan and Mist. That said, I still haven't completed FF4 because I need to beat all of the Final Fantasy games. But I have started playing it on my PSP in an attempt to make a run to finish the game. And I've already made Cecil a paladin, so I've already made more progress than I've ever made before. Yeah, Slepnia, I totally agree with you. Shadowbringers role quests seemed way better than Endwalkers. I feel like Endwalkers are more meant to be a capstone to the different regions of the world that were already in the game. So they're less relevant to plot-wise. Onwards. Yeah, seriously, think of all the Dragoons. Right from FF2. Right from FF2. The first Highwind, super cool. Kane. Dragoon is obviously only a job in FF5. 6 had just the Dragoon boots, so you could make Edgar a Dragoon or Mog. So that was pretty nice. Sid! Sid's a good one. Kamari, Freya, and then Fang, I guess. Fang and Aranea. FF8's Dragoon is hilarious. FF8 has a Dragoon? Oh no, you're not referring to Ward, are you? You're not gonna call Ward a Dragoon. Estinian? Yep, Estinian in FF14. Correct, Yarogaro. Estinian is basically a party member. Definitely a party member now with trust and whatnot. And the FF14 wall, if you count that. I mean, the FF14 wall is like a freelancer in FF5 or such. They can be any job. Estinian is a dork, yeah, but that's what gives him such gap moe. Makes him work so like he's got the dorkness to match Alphino. I'm going to lose. Ward is absolutely a Dragoon, he just uses an anchor instead. He can't jump though! Ward can't jump. Yes! Yes, I lived. The game heavily leans into the Warrior of Light being a goon. No, it doesn't. It literally can't. It literally can't on account of the fact that you can be any job. That's why there's like a difference in cutscenes depending on like whether or not you're a Dragoon in Heavenswood. I honestly like a lot of the regions in FF14. Maybe not Modena. Maybe not Girabania. Alamigo. 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 Alamigo's the one. But everything, I like Gridania, I like Limsa Laminza, Costa del Sol, baby, I like Uldar a bit. And boy, do I like Doma. Because it's got that Azim step. Jump is was limit break in FFA. Really? I like Gridania. Gridania was my starting city. I have patriotism. I don't actually have a reference, Mithril Diggy. But anything is fine. Like, I understand it makes the job easier, but there's I really have, like, no actual, like, reference. Oh, no. Oh, God. I'm not racist like the rest of Gridania. You're not from Gridania. You're not from Gridania. If you're like a warrior of light that starts in Gridania, you're not from anywhere in Eorzea. Eorzea is a found home. Hood Royal, you really want to make me do things I don't want to do or can't do, and I respect it. Lightning killed me instantly.
Forgive me.
Bum, 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 bum. If you want to be technical, the only classes the Canon Warrior of Light plays are Archer, Warrior, Dragoon, Monk, Samurai, Blue Mage, Dark Knight, and Paladin. There is no Canon Warrior of Light. There is no Canon Warrior of Light. There isn't. There is no Canon Warrior of Light. Alright? Ardbert. Ardbert is a different... I don't want us to talk about Final Fantasy XIV spoilers. I'm not going to do it. Ardbert has nothing to do with what the Warrior of Light is like. And if I have to walk you through the entire metaphysics of the Final Fantasy XIV universe and the whole deal, as someone who's played up to Endwalker, I'll do it. I'll take you on a one-on-one session, Garugaro. But I'm not going to cover that here because there's people who still haven't played Final Fantasy XIV possibly in chat right now. All right. Oh my... I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. We're not... Listen, chat. Chat, I understand your passion for the subject, and everyone is talking about like yada yada, Ardbert is not this. Listen. This is all that will be said on the subject. We're not going into the plot of Final Fantasy XIV. I don't want us talking about a single Shadowbringer spoiler. This is not even your hottest take about 14. If a take is just wrong, it's not hot, it's just wrong, and there's no, like... There's not a hint of spice. It is, I believe, how would it be described in common vernacular? A basic bitch take? I don't want to be crass, but, I feel that's pretty accurate. You will not get it on a sound redeem. Why do you want to make me swear? That's rude and mean of you. Stop it. There's no class quest in Gridania that doesn't have a racism. I mean, like, the whole thing, the whole deal with, like, the original 3 areas in A Realm Reborn is that they all have their own kind of problems. With Limsa Laminzi is pirate... I said it again. I gotta correct that, or I'm gonna say it like that for the rest of the time. Limsa Laminza has piracy and lawlessness, Gridania has the elementals, and Uldar has the fact that there's a bunch of Alamegan refugees. And also greedy merchants. But that all gets, like, I mean, a lot of it gets solved. I think they don't. They actually address Gridania's problems the least. So lawless, they have their own Gestapo corps. Oh, Gestapo corps? Do you mean the rogues? I love the rogues. I love the rogues. I love the rogues so much. I don't even play ninja. I just did the rogues quest and I got to level 50 as ninja and I stopped and I switched to samurai. But man, I love the rogues. Face your end, X-Death. Garagaro, stop saying dumb things. Just because you're trying to emulate the existence of a Final Fantasy XIV hot take. Yeah, for my first character... Oh no. For my first character, they started as a bard. And then, over time, they switched to a machinist. And then Shadowbringers came out and they switched to a dancer. I think you can see the pattern here. Range DPS is like my whole jam. But, that's on my original character, who I consider an individual separate from me. I have a self-insert VTuber character, if you will. But they're more of a secondary account. I mean, you are interacting with them and that you're still like a party, like you're in a party with them. Having ults is suffering? But my ults have a bunch of classes at my ult has a bunch of classes at AD and is all ready to go with Endwalker, so like, heck yeah.
I'm afraid that time runs short for you, truly. Let us make this quick.
Why is my chat just talking about an MMO? I mean, I guess I shouldn't be confused. I encourage this behavior. I mean, they made it more single player with trusts. Love the trusts. Still, I do long for playing FF11 sometime. A very different kind of MMO experience. Don't do it, X-Death. Damn you, X-Death. No, I didn't play 11, Garugaro. I didn't play 11. Garugaro, you think I was old enough for Final Fantasy 11? How old do you think I am? No, I would go on my computer as a child and be like, I want to play Final Fantasy 11, and I would just stare at the jobs on the website. I wish... Yeah, I would have loved exploring. Listen to me, I'm still going to at some point. 11 still exists, and there are private servers as well that replicate the old experience in addition to just playing it as it is now. And at some point, I will gather a great army and venture forth onto the fields of Vana'diel. And I will experience Final Fantasy XI as part of a massive team in the way that it was meant to be played. And I must needs do this in order to accomplish my lifelong dream, my romantic dream, of playing and beating all Final Fantasy games in the main line. Alright? And that's just the way things are. That's just a fact.
I'm afraid that time runs short for you, truly. Let us make this quick.
But for now, I bide my time and I wait. That's not fair, X-Death. 11 is on sale right now, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time to sink into it at the moment. And I need to... Listen. I'm not popular enough at the moment. I'm not popular enough at the moment. I must become a much bigger VTuber. I must become a much bigger VTuber in order to assemble the Grand Army. Alright? Yarugaro, listen to me. Is Final Fantasy XI a mainline Final Fantasy game? Well, then I have no choice. I played 13. I beat 15 twice. Alright? Again, this is not a thing that is currently happening. But your offers, like, everyone's offers to join, I really appreciate. And when the time comes, you will be welcomed. And I'm dead again. Because I had such trouble with that one Zidane mannequin and lost all my health. But I can do this. It's definitely doable.
I'm afraid that time runs short for you. Truly. And let us make this quick. Naive, weak. Approaches.
Also, someone, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, someone in my chat that is here today, was also here at some point during the 7 Remake playthrough the other day, and commented that the soundtrack really gets good in 7 Remake at Chapter 3, because Chapters 1 and 2 relied too much on orchestrations. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm genuinely bad with, like, remembering who said what. But, I've been like, that thought kind of, like, stuck in a part of my brain, apparently, because I was listening to I basically turned on Nobuo Uematsu on Spotify today and had him on for a long time while I was doing stuff. And, that was, honestly, that was so great, listening to, like, everything from, like, 7 Remake tracks to FF4 tracks. Anyway, I think the reason that Final Fantasy VII Remake did so many orchestral tracks in the early chapters of Final Fantasy VII Remake, like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, the opening bombing mission, is because it has a massive similarity to the original Distant Worlds FF7 orchestrations. Which were like... I died in one hit because I have 29 health, Neko Neko Kamen. And like... The opening bombing mission was done by a different team, actually. What, in 7 Remake? Well, not the OST. Because the OST is by Uematsu, isn't it? Anyway. My core point is that, like...
I'm afraid that time runs short.
When 7 came out, you were still limited in what kind of music you could put on... Like, on what kind of music you could put on a PlayStation 1. But with Distant Worlds, it was like, this is what Final Fantasy VII could sound like. Ow. This is what, like, Final Fantasy VII could sound like. Kitase did the opening mission, and only the opening mission. Really? The rest was Nomura? I would have expected Kitase was more involved in, like, the general remake. Anyway. Distant Worlds, FF7, like the orchestral Distant World stuff, the FF7 tracks, it was like, oh, this is what, like, FF7 could sound like if it was something like that one PlayStation 3 teaser, right? So, like, I feel like it was a nod to that. I feel like all of the orchestration in the opening bombing mission of Final Fantasy VII Remake was like a nod to all of the time we had been waiting. I dodged too early every time. Yep, game devs don't compress jack anymore, and we all suffer for it. That is a true fact. Sobs in 100 gigabyte, well, 98 gigabyte download for 7 Remake just so I could play Yuffie's game. I hate this guy. I'm not gonna like the answer why he only did that one mission. Why am I not gonna like the answer, Gyoro Gyoro? Why am I not gonna like the answer? If I'm not gonna like it, you are honor bound to tell me. He was focusing on the Oh, you were right! I wasn't gonna like it! I wasn't gonna like it! I wasn't going to like it. Can I heal up somehow? Nope. It's just a matter of getting good. With this Kane. Against this X-Death. Come on. I just need to nickel and dime him, essentially. I mean, like, some people have streamed it. Ow! Ah! Some people have streamed the Battle Royale. First Soldier. Final Fantasy Battle Royale, Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, out now on phones. You know what I don't have? A phone that can play video games of that nature. You know why? Because it's a phone. I hate you, Square Enix. I love you and I hate you. Why do I have to have this relationship with you? Why can't you just be good? We're entering a golden age of Final Fantasy and everything would just be great if you didn't do stuff like this. Just use Nox or BlueStacks. I tried that once for gacha, back when I was you know, a youth trying to play Kingdom Hearts Unchained X, and that didn't go so well. So I don't do that anymore. The PS2 era broke FF. The PS2 era was good for FF though. It's PlayStation 3 where things got messed up. And the coming days is what shall restore Final Fantasy to a state of glorious magnificence. Endwalker, 7 Remake, the bits and pieces are already here. Stranger of Paradise, 7 Remake Part 2, 16, it's all on the horizon. It's all on the horizon, friends. If there was one good thing, like one really good thing about playing the PC port for 7 Remake was like one really great thing about it. Playing the Yuffie part confirmed for me. It confirmed for me that they still have it. They've still got it. The devs have still got it. So 7 Remake Part 2 will also be good. PS2 era saw FF become extremely profitable in ways that caused lots of problems. They caused problems? How so? I mean, this was already, like, FF... Like, during the PS2 era, I do suppose that Spirits Within happened during that time. Roughly, right? Because they were still Squaresoft with 10. Ah. Until they do, like, put NFTs in 7 Remake. Hey, Gyarugaro! Maybe if you're gonna say something extremely cursed that might jinx our chances of a golden age of Final Fantasy, maybe you keep your goddamn mouth shut. Maybe you just don't ruin this for me, huh? Okay? Thank you. Spirits Within was PS1. Nope, Kingdom Hearts 1. Listen, Kingdom Hearts 1 has the Squaresoft logo on it. Listen to me. You can't deceive my childhood memory. And Kingdom Hearts 1 had Final Fantasy X characters in it, which means Final Fantasy X, a PS2 Final Fantasy, was by Squaresoft. 10-2 might have been Square Enix, but Squaresoft did 10. And that's just a fact. The best way to handle FFs would make massive amounts of spin-off and expansion games. So we got stuff like 10-2 and the Fabula Nova Crystallis, which really just kind of blew up in everyone's faces, yeah. The Fabula Nova Crystallis. How about a Jito 13 and Versus 13? They weren't even related. You're right. The Fabula Nova Crystallis was honestly a massive, like, stain on Final Fantasy. Like, it really just kind of messed with things. I hate Almagest. I hate Almagest. Luckily, Type O came out, like, I don't know if I would call it sort of okay, but it's like, it's at least on a conceptual level. Several parts of it are quite nice. Even though I only did one run of it, and it's a game that's meant to have, you're meant to do multiple runs. But, 15 really didn't get out unscathed. Because they were so entrenched in their Fabula Nova Crystallis dumb stupidry, they turned Versus 13 into 15 and led to Final Fantasy 15 being a weird action RPG, which would have been fine if it was a spin-off, but it was a main game and it set a really weird precedence. Like Ever Crisis and First Soldier existing. I mean...
I'm afraid that time runs short for you, truly.
Are you seriously gonna tell me that there was no... No. If there's one thing that has always been the ethos of the Final Fantasy series, it is to experiment, and you're not going to tell me for one single goddamn second that they were not experimenting the hell out of everything when they made Final Fantasy XIII's Paradigm Shift battle system. You're just not. What is that cribbing from, other than possibly a bit of Final Fantasy X too? Like 15, maybe. Maybe some of 15 is influenced by like a lot of other stuff. But it's still got its own ideas, like the sword warping nonsense. Experimentation is like the whole thing with Final Fantasy. They're always trying new stuff, which is why sometimes it doesn't work, and it's bad. And they should have known it was bad. Come on. Heavenward! Dragon's Grasp! With all my strength! I mean, you can do an open world correctly. They just couldn't do one. I hate X-Death! I hate him! But it's fine, we'll overcome this trial. Maybe, you know what, maybe we'll take this whole thing again. We'll take this whole thing again, and this time against the Zidane mannequin, I'm gonna just... not suck? You weren't really talking about experimentation in the sense of trying out what other devs have done. I mean... if you think about it, Final Fantasy 15 didn't... like clearly it didn't learn from anything about what other devs have done. So, can you really call it copying? Something to think about. Yeah, but 15 is a weird game. And an extremely saddening experience for, at this point, like a 5 years younger Carmine. If that. Clearly his evil twin would be Odysseus. Let's give it a bit of class here. That's Bart's down. Like making the entire backstory of the game available only a big budget movie with top Hollywood actors in it. Yeah, I know. That was a big problem, that for some reason with 15 they decided to break everything into, like having the backstory relationships of the main characters being comrades, which is an anime, as opposed to like knowing how they relate to each other just in the game itself. You need to watch the backstory. They were trying... See, that's experimentation. They were trying a really weird multimedia model of storytelling, and it didn't work. This is what I'm talking about. No one else but them could be stupid enough to try something like that. Come on. More merch. I mean, it's experimentation with merchandising. Yada yada. Oh, that was sick. You gotta admit, that was sick. That sudden finisher. But yeah. That's how it be. And then they ended up having to, like, not... Like, they didn't do enough of the story in the game itself, so they had to do all these DLCs to add that kind of thing off, and then they were going to do a DLC to actually wrap up the actual plot that isn't wrapped up in the game itself, so they had to... But that got cancelled, so they have to wrap things up in a book, and it turns out Bahamut is the real villain, I think. But I don't know because I haven't read the book. Okay, so this is our big challenge. That's only in the demo? What's only in the demo? Oh, Carbuncle is supposed to be a token of protection from his father. Yeah, I know that because I played the demo. You think I wasn't playing every FF15 demo I could get my hands on? I can't jump! He's too good! I just need to land 1 HP attack. Who puts key characterization only in a demo? Square Enix does. Come here. Come hither. I should probably hit him with a Sky Rave. How can he fire that straight up? I hate this monkey! Does Square really need to get those millions of spending at Sean Bean and Lena Headey? I don't even know, like, I mean, obviously I know who Sean Bean is. I don't know how half these actors are. I don't care. I don't know what Square sees in them. How should I know? Like, why they... Of course they didn't need to do this. Listen, Final Fantasy 15 is bad and a disaster and never should have happened. I can't make this any clearer. But it was an experiment. Even if it was an experiment in terribleness, it was an experiment. Finally! Zidane is king of the sky. Nope, the dragon rules all. A dragon never yields. That's just the fact. That's just straight the fact.
I will prevail.
Lightning, I don't think you understand. That was the Lance of the Covenant. You're not supposed to just dodge it. Oh dang, that actually got me. I'm gonna retry. The Chad jump opener. Yep. 15 is like... FF15 is a miracle that you can actually play it? Is it though? Is it a miracle? What are you actually playing? I've played 100 hours of Final Fantasy 15 and it's not very playable. They patched it for like 2 years. It's not very playable. Oh, lightning. Oh, this is actually working. This is scum. The tap jump. The Chad tap jump. Look at this. You want Square to experiment in good ways again? They've already done it. They've already started making good Final Fantasy games again. I like even if you just want to talk about like Square Enix, if you want to talk about Square Enix just making good games, they also made Neo: The World Ends With You, which is great. But just in the vein of Final Fantasy, Endwalker happened, Final Fantasy VII Remake happened. Like, I mean, come on. Yeah, I know you mentioned Chocobo Racing. I don't care, I never played the original. I'm sure it's good. I'm not a kart racer. I'm not like a kart racing player. I'm sure it's fine. But what I'm saying is that there are already games out. There are already Final Fantasy games out of a new nature, of a recent nature, that are really, really, really good. And Walker is not experimenting, but you don't want to spoil. Well, no, it can't because it's an update to a game that already exists. But it's good. And guess who the guy in charge of it is? Well, I mean, like, not in charge of it. You know what I'm saying. You're picking up what I'm putting down. I forgot that X-Death is a son of a bee. Anyhow.
I'm afraid that time runs short for you.
Listen.
Let us make this quick.
Endwalker is really good, y'all. In a very simple way, too. You've got the cool nods to past Final Fantasy games. Really good story. Great trials of, like, absolutely amazing soundtrack. It's got it all as an expansion. I'm very pleased with it. And the story did make me cry a bit. Because some of it hit real close to home. But that's all I'll say on the matter. The point is, listen, I don't like talking about the newer stuff because spoilers. But the newer stuff of the Final Fantasy lineup is really good. And honestly, if we want to talk about experimentation, yeah, a lot of people prefer Shadowbringers to Endwalker. But I don't know, like how time will tell if which one I consider superior because I've just played Endwalker recently, so I'm biased. But like, I still think Endwalker is really good. Like a new Dissidia doesn't try to copy Gundam, but maybe Stranger of Paradise will be that game. Not only is Stranger of Paradise already that game, Garo, they literally did Final Fantasy VII Remake. How much more experimentation can you ask of these people? Like I'm holding it up, this big pillar that says Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's all experimentation, baby. They figured out they worked on it, and they figured out how to make ATB work in like a real-time combat system with like action gameplay, and they made it work, and they made it fluid, and then they have awesome systems like the weapon customization system that it was not in the original, but serves an important role in the new gameplay system. With Trials combat? What do you mean? FF7R is the perfect ATB system? Correct! Begone, Final Fantasy XIII! Your paradigm shift was not the chosen one. It's the same combat system as Trials. I don't know what Trials is. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, dang it. He grand crossed me. Don't you cross me, X-Death. Ha! I waited for him to block because I knew he was gonna. Like, what game is Trials? I've never heard of it. The Trails game series? Trials of Mana. No, it's not Trails. Trials of Mana. I mean, is it actually the same? Is it actually the same gameplay system? Because I've never played Trials of Mana. I'm willing to take your word for it, but I'm not sure. Because 7 Remake system seems very too fine-tuned to FF7 and how that game played. Haha, get Gungnir'd. Checkmate. Anyway, I can't really comment on this because I haven't played Trials of Mana, so I have to withhold. Also, Gyaro, you laid like Dissidia NT at the feet of Square. That was Team Ninja. You go blame Team Ninja. Alright? Team Ninja messed up. I almost swore then because I was so angry. Team Ninja messed up, and they are now going to pay for that screw up by giving us Stranger of Paradise, which will be great. And if it's not great, they will suffer the consequences of my revenge for ruining Dissidia.
Fight.
That's simply the way of it.
Bloodied and battered. The mannequins will not be stopped. If you go onward, know you shall not return alive.
The warrior returning alive! I play the warrior returning alive! To bring back one warrior-type monster from my graveyard! Checkmate, X-Death! You respect my optimism for that game?
Kane.
How can you not be optimistic? How can you not be optimistic about Stranger of Paradise?
Now, with the end so near.
Like, I don't understand how there is any possible way to not be Team Ninja. Yeah, but it's not them making a fighting game. It's not them making a fighting game. It's Final Fantasy Neo, right? So like, this is the thing that they're good at. People have enjoyed their Neo game, that Neo game of theirs.
Was all for nothing.
Should you go on, your undoing is.
So like, this is their wheelhouse, and it's also got a job system with mid-battle job switching.
Not all
And it's also Final Fantasy
their
1
end.
time loop villain prequel. Wait, did I play the demo? No, I've seen a couple clips of people playing the demo. You think I have a PS5 to play that demo on?
There will be an end to this. A true end. I promise you that.
There will be a true end, but it's in the next cycle and Kane won't live to see it, and that's sad. It kind of has a lot of the bad parts of Neo 1. I don't know what those are. Alright. And maybe it won't be perfect. But it will be full of soul. And that's all I need. It's gonna be... It's literally the origin story of Garland. They would have to mess it up. They would have to screw it up in an incredible fashion for me to not be all in on that.
Has my power waned so greatly?
Hello, Cosmos.
I can still sense
We're seeing
it somehow.
we're seeing more behind the scenes.
What could this mean?
Goddess of Harmony.
It's
I
Golbez!
see you have awoken.
Oh, he's about to explain the plot.
And you are...
I am an ally of chaos. However, I have come bearing you a message and nothing more.
Golbez is very cool.
a message.
Even though he's a total rat
Very
in
well.
battle.
Let us hear your words.
You do not doubt my intentions.
My warriors have yet to rise from their slumber. The first blow in this new war has not yet been struck.
Correct.
You have been deliberate in the timing of your arrival. I assume that before my chosen awake and the battle begins, there is
What are the
something
bad
you
point
feel
parts
that I
of
should
Neo
know.
1, if I may ask?
In the previous battle, you fell.
Flowcharty combat and enemies without the depth Neo's combat had, and drops giving you so much useless loot, garbage boss AI.
The heroes of Harmony should have been destroyed along.
True.
However, they
But the true
remained
depth of the
honest
combat in
and
something like
received
7 Remake
purification.
wasn't immediately apparent just from the demo alone, which was
You
just the
may
first
change
chapter.
this realm. You unleashed your power. Set it free for the sake
And
of your children.
like all you could see was the slightest glimmerings of potential, and the full game turned out great.
Explains much.
So I will hold
Why
on to
I
hope.
feel so weakened.
You are
It should at least be a
The
fun
reason
time,
why
right?
is that your minions
Even if
yet
it's not the
have
best
power you
game.
surrendered.
Yes, I sense it. I feel my energy burn
I want
brightly
to
within
see
them.
the party
well
turn
as
into
its
the four
purpose.
fiends.
However, have you considered the consequences should you again decide to share your divine strength in this diminished state?
I choose my path, knowing what may come.
Golbez is warning
knowing what the
Cosmos that she's
future
going
may
to
hold and what's at
basically
stake.
end herself to give power to
If you
the
have indeed
crystals.
embarked willingly upon this course, then I shall depart. There is nothing left for me to say. The depth of your resolve is admirable.
My resolve. If only I had discovered it so much sooner.
Bum, bum, bum. Ah, we need Shantoto at level 5. I guess we're grinding up Shantoto after all. To the battle mode. Actually, we should check for the catalog for any outfits. Shantoto. Wizard's coat. Sure, why not? Let's... Oh, nope. Don't battle mode. It's gonna have mountains of DLC. Yeah, I know they've already announced 3 DLC. It's just Bahamut, Gilgamesh, and some other thing, right? Okay. Check her abilities. Check her equipment. Optimize her equipment. Equip her accessories. Hyper ring. Level 1 to 9. While far from opponents, let's say, actually, let's just say attacking bravery. Summons. Ifrit, set reserves, Ifrit, Shiva, Rama, Carbuncle, Magic Pot. Time for some oh ho 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 ho! Yes, it is. And assist, we will have Gabranth. Let's go. The option to direct up Garland as Cloud, Noctis, Lightning, and Moogle. Yeah, but why would you ever dress him up as Noctis or Lightning? A Cloud or a Moogle sound nice, though. Oh. And look. Alt 1. Let's see what it actually looks like. And let's fight Gilgamesh. Now we're just after that sweet, sweet EXP.
Allow me to explain. You will feel
I mean, honestly... When it comes to it, like at a certain point, like Square Enix is gonna make its bucks, and as long as it's like stuff I don't like. As long as it's stuff that I don't care about, I don't mind. Is what I guess what I'm trying to say. Stop running away, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh. I don't know how to use her spellcasting. Square Enix is doing NFT games now. Wait, what? Sorry, what did you say? It sounded almost like you said that Square Enix is doing NFT games now. But that can't be right. How do I play Shantoto? Capcom is already doing it. SF5 has NFTs. Yeah, they announced in November NFT and blockchain games. What does that mean, though? What does any of that mean? What does any of this mean? I can't hit him. I can't hit him. I can't. I can't hit him. I can't. I, Emmanuel, can't hit him. Her spellcasting is too slow. Oh, I'm supposed to... I mean, It means FF cryptocurrency one day. Mayhap it does. Mayhap it doesn't. Who knows which way the wheel may turn. But I know this. The cryptocurrencies and NFTs are too close to the wretched meat space. If FF Crypto becomes real, would I buy Mogul coin? No, I just told you. It's too close to the meat space.
Allow me to explain.
Too many people are talking about that stuff in the real space. I can't suffer the wickedness of the third dimension. Everything sucks there. Besides, what on earth makes you think I'm, like, the type to invest in anything? Because I'm not.
It was very unwise to judge me by size.
It was very unwise to judge her by size.
Allow me to explain. You will feel some pain.
And... how am I supposed to hit him with my magics? No, I'll get him. Got him. He'll never expect this. I didn't expect to wall slam him. I gotta kill him. Wait, why is her magic power increased? What happened? What caused it? I'm gonna have to go talk to Selphie about this one. I gotta figure out how Shuntoro works in this game. I've never, like, deduced this. I max at my EX gate? I'm not sure if that's what it is. I'm genuinely not sure that's what it is. It might be that she has an EX mechanic that is a bit different from Gabrand's, but I'm not sure. To the customization screen! To the best corner of the game! Battle tips! Welcome, welcome, Magicraft. Welcome, welcome. There is more Dissidia. You can give Team Ninja one thing. They put Kamala on, Kamala no in Dissidia NT. Yeah, that's an 11 character, isn't he? Yeah, love them battle tips. Love them. I mean, I like Team Ninja putting Renoa in Dissidia, but like, I would prefer if they put Selphie in. Anyway. Selphie will give us... oh no, Pinello will aid Selphie and give us the deets on every character. So if we hit FF11... she strings together HP attacks with combos. She can make easy work of any opponents if she can string together a chain of spells. It's rumored she's learning a jamming spell. As long as it wasn't Laguna again. Garo, I'm gonna have to put you in a corner. I'm gonna have to put you in a corner with some sort of dunce cap on. Don't you ever say a thing. Don't you ever say a negative thing about Laguna. I swear. She's definitely tiny and probably gets stepped on all the time. I can't imagine someone would step on Shentoto and live. You want new characters? It's not... Listen! You want new characters over returning? Why, though? I mean, like... In the end, it doesn't matter because it's NT, so it's all null and void. So, like, why even? At least with like all that is affected is we get a shiny new render of them, and I would like a shiny new render of characters I like, regardless of whether they're new or returning. Mainly learns diversionary spells, knows all she'll learn from the beginning. That's not enough info. I gotta figure this out. Check her moves. Strength depends on bravery! Oh! So the strength of her magic depends on her bravery. So I should focus on a couple attacks and retribution. In order to, like, get my bravery up and then deal... So she focuses on bravery attacks with her staff and then one big... Okay. One big spell chain. New is more fun. Not necessarily. I mean, they changed up how a lot of characters worked. Pretty much half the characters in NT play differently. Like, the mechanics are all changed. Squall now junctions. Yuna doesn't actually call her summons. She just uses their HP, like, moves as HP attacks. Yes, let us suck the strength. Okay, who would you pick? Everybody, top 5 characters to get into a new Dissidia game. Go. It doesn't have to be NT. Assume it's like a new Duodecim style game. You can pick anyone. Meteor Survivor. I'm not gonna accept that. No Final Fantasy XIV Warrior of Light. That's invalid. I invalidate that. Hildebrand. I mean, can you name a... At some point, y'all are gonna start naming characters that aren't from Final Fantasy XIV, and that's when the discussion will actually commence. Come on, people, are MMOs all you think about? You don't have a single character from earlier Final Fantasies you want in? Okay, Deleter. Okay, see, now that's an actual pick. Granted, I can't see, like, why he would play that, like, differently from Ramza. But I guess it varies on when you go. There's an earlier Final Fantasy that... I know you're playing me right now. I know it for a fact, but the visceral response to the thought of, like, someone being like, "Oh man, I love Final Fantasy XIV, this game with so many great nods to the Final Fantasy series." Wait, you're telling me that there are earlier games? I know that there are people who, like, their first game was Final Fantasy XIV, and that's fine, but just... Welcome, Rando Lurker, welcome. I just... Listen to me. There are other games! I'm telling you! Oh, I should have EX moded there. There's a lot that only play 14. Then they're not Final Fantasy fans, and I want them to get the hell out of my game.
Maybe next time.
14 is an incredible achievement just alone for the fact that it maintains its own singularly roughly consistent setting, while also working in references to pretty much every Final Fantasy game in terms of both, like, content and style. Like, you can make nods to aesthetics from most FF games work, whether it's, like, full-on Amano type armored weaponry or something more in the casual modern style of FF 8 or like even 7's sort of pseudo-modern clothes, or 10's weird stuff, or 13's.
Prepare to be educated.
2.0 became FF Theme Park. It's FF Theme Park while being its own thing. Being FF Theme Park doesn't make it bad. It makes it extremely good if you like FF. And I like FF. Is Marsh in Dissidia NT? Marsh is in Dissidia NT. Oh wait, no. That's Ramza. Why'd I say he was? That's Rams is in NT. Marsh is not in there. Is his special move he just like hits you over the head with a wheelchair? Is that his like, I know there's no EX burst, but is that a HP attack? Come on. Arrow, Blizzard, Fire, Play rough. How do I do this? Skill chain fusion. What is the actual succession order? Maybe he can actually fight with his oversized pizza cutter. For a second there I thought you were talking about Lucer, because Lucer's got one too, but now Marsh has one of those. You have to cast spells in a specific order? Well, hell if I know what that order is. I never played 11. Anyway, yeah, I love Final Fantasies like this and 14 that, like,
Allow me to explain.
they have their own thing in them, but they also are like a massive homage to the series. The real answer for the Dissidia question, Faris. You know, I gave everyone a top 5, and like most people like submitted a single answer. But like Faris is a good pick, because you could have her be like any job and it would work. Because Bart's is a mime. Her job is what? That's not a job in the series, Garagaro. They should include FF spirits within characters in New Dissidia. No, stop! Listen! Stop trolling me. I was trying to actually have a discussion. You all clowned on me. It's mean. I'm gonna pout. Anyway. I would pick cool characters. It's fine. I would pick cool characters like Auron. And, Selfie, obviously. Yuffie. Maybe Realm. Biggs and Wedges is a combined character. Which Biggs and Wedge, though? That's the question. What about Legends of the Crystals characters? Never played Legends of the Crystals. Is that even Final Fantasy? Here comes Sora for Dissidia. They actually wanted him, if I recall correctly, but they couldn't make it work. That's Final Fantasy Unlimited. Legends of the Crystals. Oh no, I know about the anime sequel to FF5. I know the animated sequel to FF5, I just didn't know the title, Gyarogaro. But yeah, that's Final Fantasy Unlimited. Listen to me. I understand that, like, compared to a true expert of Final Fantasy, I don't know much. This is true. But I also spent, like, half of my childhood on the Final Fantasy wiki. So, like, I know a couple things, okay? I know about Legends of the Crystals. Alright, I know about Final Fantasy Unlimited. I didn't watch it. But I read the wiki. Isn't there an FF Isekai manga? Yes, there is. That is like in an FF11/FF14 type setting, if I recall correctly. There's also World of Final Fantasy, which I still need to play. If we're talking about just random spin-offs. And that one's also like a Final Fantasy that's about Final Fantasy, so like I can get with that. To battle setup, to customization, to abilities, to offensive abilities, to bioground. I have no idea who that is. Because I have not played WoF.
Prepare to be educated.
Mm-hmm. Get guard crushed! I mean, if you really want a good FF anime, you should just watch Final Fantasy 15 Brotherhood, available now on Crunchyroll or whatever. Thanks to Crunchyroll for sponsoring the stream, yada yada yada. Like, seriously. God damn. What was they thinking? What really irks me about that is that, like, the character relationships they presented in that show weren't even like that. Like, they were kind of interesting. They weren't that bad. They should have just put them in the game, though. Oh, don't you Ruby light me! That's what I thought. Come on. He's a slippery one. Haha, got him. Come on. Come on.
Leave it to me.
Haha! Killed by falling rocks! Except the rocks were falling upwards! Upwards, you fool! Upwards! You are no match for the upwards rocks! They would destroy us, thou! But yeah, anyway. The Final Fantasy series, like we've talked almost exclusively about Final Fantasy this stream, so like, I'm really feeling the nicheness of my appeal, but I'm also really happy about it. Weird feeling. Anyway. Oh yes, keep re-raising, please. Yeah, you keep on re-raising. That's a great idea. Thanks, Phoenix. Thanks, Phoenix. No, I'm not going to talk about Saga. If you were cultured, you would have asked to talk about Trails, but no, you're a pleb, so. I don't know why I'm so mean to like Yaragara specifically when it comes to like I'm usually a lot nicer to my chat. Maybe it's because that one time they commissioned out of me in a dress, so that would track. Anyhow, we've talked almost exclusively about Final Fantasy, and how like there was like a massive period of dormancy, signified by the Fabula Nova Crystallis and all that. Oh, it's gone a level above. It's gone a level above. Ah, I'm so powerful now. How would you feel if I never told you I never played a Kiseki game aside a little bit of Trails in the Sky? Well, you're like most plebeians, then. That's how I would feel. Burst. Quake! Woo! Bravery limits. Anyhow. Yeah. My point is that we should all be optimistic for the future of Final Fantasy. Because what with spin-offs like Stranger of Paradise and, you know, 16 on the way, I feel like FF is coming back in a major way, and I really hope I'm right. But yeah, also on the topic of Kiseki, you should all go play Trails in the Sky on like Steam or whatever, like right now. You should all go do it. If you want a comfy JRPG adventure, you should go do that immediately. Shouldn't you just play all of the Trails games? Well, you should start with Sky, and then you should come back to me and apprise me of your progress. Because if you just do it on your own like a fool, you're probably going to play them in the wrong order. You'll just play them in release order? But will you though? But will you though? Is it merely as simple as that? Because if you play them on the release order that they end up on released, like in English, then you're not playing them in the correct order. Because they've translated them in the wrong order. So you must play them in original release order. Which is also chronological order, obviously. Why wouldn't you play it in the original Japanese release order? Listen to me! I understand that what you're saying seems very reasonable, and is also very reasonable to me too. But the whole thing is that, like, so many people finish Trails in the Sky, and then like, oh, what's this? Trails of Cold Steel? Out now? I should go play that. And they shouldn't. They should go play Zero. Like, this trap has gotten a lot of people. It got me at one point. You can't just go straight to Cold Steel, you've got to deal with Crossbell. I'm not sure how much I appreciate getting my buttons pushed. Am I gonna have to do some sort of like intimidation tactic? So you're like, oh, Carmine is very scary, let's not cross him. What should I do to make you all genuinely afraid of me? That's actually a tough one. Really? Even I'm not remotely intimidating? Really? I'm not the least bit intimidating. Even if I was to describe... Oh, hold on, I want to try and figure this out. It's got to be like... How am I supposed to know that? I don't get the order. Anyway, I can't figure that out. Anyhow, even if I was to like describe how I would rip the spinal cord of your still living body and strangle you to death with it. How do you know that? You genuinely don't know that, though. I could. I might. I might do that. I might not do that. I'm not a nice boy. I'm not a nice boy. I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad boy. But, no, seriously, I never have any, reason to do it. And I never have. And I can't say those words in that inflection again. What? I'm a bad boy. That? Just being all gruff. I'm a bad boy. How is that illegal? Is it bad? I'm sorry. I'll stop. I don't know what the first way is. What? I'm a bad boy? Just me saying that I'm a bad boy. I'm not cute! Stop it, it's not cutesy. Listen. The whole point... Anyway, my whole point is that I don't need to do it. And I never would do it. But if I had to do it, I'm sure I could hurt someone in a way they would never recover from. Maybe that's exaggerating. That actually is. I actually have no idea what would cause that. I can't think of a torture method. I'd have to Google it. But then that just gets you put on watch lists or whatever. So I've never Googled anything like that. And also I'm bad at Googling, so I probably wouldn't get like the answer I need. Metal Gear Solid 1's Revolver Ocelot and whatnot did get me a little interested in torture, though. Carmine Googles how to be a bad boy. I just want to make you. I just want to get that like. I just want to get that kind of like Gasai Yuki relationship where you all love me. But you're also scared of me at the same time. And you don't want to cross me. I want obedience. I want you to submit to me. That's not too much to ask, is it? What? What? Oh wow, that actually hit.
Are we done already?
Seriously though, what? I'm just looking for that kind of thing. Where you're all too scared, where you all still watch me, but you're too scared to like... But you're too scared to like, you know, say things that will set me off. So you avoid making like stupid statements about Final Fantasy or whatever. What do you mean it wasn't the way I intended it to sound? I want you to submit to me. You know, swear fealty, pledge allegiance, not cross me. You know, be good little boys and girls, all that nonsense. This is a problem. I do feel I'm getting more of a handle on how to play Shantotto, though. Nice. I want to get it to level 6 and then we'll do it.
It was very unwise to judge me by size.
Never judge based on size. What is there to giggle about? Take me seriously. I demand to be taken seriously. I demand to be taken seriously. I am not a joke. I am a VTuber. You'll regret this.
You will feel some pain.
My demands shall be met, and they shall be taken seriously, or the consequences will be dire. What consequences? What consequences? You're gonna wake up. You're gonna wake up and find yourself tied up, and I'm gonna be standing over you.
Are we done already?
And then the punishment will commence. Kinky, what? No, I probably wouldn't force you to watch Spirits Within. That would actually be too cruel. We could watch another B movie, though. That's a bad flick. The problem is I only watch stuff I enjoy, so... Oh, I watched Birdemic once. Maybe I could make you all watch that. Can you watch the B movie? No. I made, like, several demonic and angelic pacts that prevents me from at all observing the behavior of Jerry Seinfeld. Becoming a what? Becoming a what?
Oh, are we done already?
Isn't the B movie... What? Aren't they the same person? Aren't they the same? Isn't Adam Sandler and Jerry Seinfeld? Aren't they like? They're basically the same person in my brain. I'm not like the most up with it when it comes to meat space actors in the third dimension. There's no way I didn't know the words I was saying and how it came out. What are you still on about? What words? Give specific examples. Anyway, it's time to look at an earlier cycle. I can't watch a clip on stream, you know. Thank you very much. So this is an earlier cycle where Shantotto and Gabranth were still alive.
But your head must be of solid bone, since a fight you cannot win is a fight you should avoid. I would have feigned ignorance had you stayed trembling in the shadows, but you're just begging to be destroyed.
Oh, snap.
Stay out of my way. Putting an end to pointless conflict is the only reason I'm here.
Shantotto is always smug.
There's no future for the bystander.
Of course. The future is for one to take by brute force.
So you are the last line of defense?
The last and best.
You put on a brave face.
Look at her cute little
But
nose.
it's time to quit the field, little one.
Oh, you underestimate a lady. Care to put me to the test?
I love this interaction so much.
You mean to stand and fight?
I do, and I might put the same question to you.
The PS2 FFs.
Ah, now I see. You are a wielder of magics. Very well. You shall have no mercy from me. Prepare yourself. Your journey to the afterlife will be swift.
Yes, Yes, do your worst and all that. Strong words will count for naught once I've crushed you flatter than flat. So striking and tall. I think I'll incinerate you.
I mean, Shantado, everyone is tall relative to you. You are quite small. Let's do this!
I will spare no strength to bring your downfall, mage.
On guard! I adore no holds barred.
Damn it, I was hit by my own poison! Taru Taru. Oh yeah, that's the race. That's the Lalafell equivalent of FF11. It's interesting that they named it like Tataru Taru after them. Dang it, I actually didn't want to HP attack him. Tataru, Elvan, Hume, Galka, Mithra. I don't need a laundry list. I don't need a shopping list. What is this, Gyarugaru? Your shopping list? If I recall, hold on. First, if I recall, was Galka female? Was Galka male only and Mithra female only? I seem to recall that was the case. In which case, either Elvan or Mithra. I'm hedging my bets a bit. Cast it. There was rocks there, so I'm gonna quake it. I still don't get it how to do this. Oh, fare thee well, Sleipnir, fare thee well. Have a good rest of your head, okay? Take care of yourself.
You weren't ready for an opponent like me.
Oh, wow, a Hume. That's original Gyarugaru. I'm surprised though, I didn't peg you for a basic.
Chaos losers just strolling on in like they own the place. And where is that troublesome waif? There's no need to patrol to the ends of the earth to keep the perimeter safe.
Oh, the troublesome waif is of course Preesh.
I'm back.
I don't think we have Preesh yet.
I mean, Dr. Shentoto. Thanks for holding down the
Humes
fort.
have better hair options? Fair, I guess. One thing that I hate about the Vieira in 14 is their hair options are so minimal.
Well,
Such
not
minimal
today.
hair options.
Was, making the rounds. Around and about.
The rounds. Oh, how simple that sounds.
How simple.
While you were out around and about, I enjoyed a visit from some armored lout.
I love her rhymes.
I don't know how, in an area so small, you failed to notice that walking steel wall. Let me ask you once more. Did it just strike your fancy to wander off and explore? I don't make threats. If there's no results by the time I'm done researching the ultimate spell, it's too late for regrets. Are you listening, Prish? I'll be more than happy to fry you along with the rest of the Chaos Fish. I'm not done with you.
Ooh.
Wow, keep your tunic on, will ya? Next time, I'll bring you back something nice. You like souvenirs, right?
Mark my words, you insolent pup. Shirk your duty again, and your number is up.
I genuinely don't know what job I would play in 11. I mean, I've always liked Red Mage in just terms of general jobs. Ooh, Onion Knight, let's go. Quick Onion Knight scenario, let's go. What about sub job? I don't know how those work. And like I don't know, like it's not like 14, right? It's not like 14, right? There is a bit of a meta. You want to pick something that will synergize well. I can't just be like, yes, I would like to be a red mage sub-job corsair. Thank you very much. Like, I don't know if that'll work. Oh, I wanted to look at the background. There was the airship in the distance, and I think that's Earth. I'll have to go along the rails in a completely different direction. There we are. It keeps on the camera's too far down. Dang it. There it is. The airship and the Earth. Or is that the other moon? Anyway. Sam War is way different from Sam Thief. Yeah, I figured. That's one of the reasons I'm so interested in it. It sounds like a very different system than just like, you know, every class has its set thing, and every role essentially has its set thing. Blade Torrent. Faraga. Come on, Kefka. Come on, come on. Or maybe like maybe Blue Mage, because like Blue Mage is like a thing in 11 as well, but it's actually like playable in content, so that's got to be enticing. And I believe 11 has a lot more exploring to it, so maybe that would aid the maybe that would make acquiring blue magic spells a lot more fun too. Had to check since your gut hurt from laughing too hard. You had to check what? You had to check what, Meiji? Were you trying to check if you were okay? Like, I'm sorry if I caused you like any like pain or whatever from the laughing. I'm sorry about your gut. I'm gonna get that dang. What the heck was that? How? No, you're not gonna do that. There. Ninjutsu. Shuriken. Did the AI get harder? I mean, the AI always fluctuates in this game, depending on what you're doing. Just don't play Beastmaster or Dragoon. Oh, what's wrong with Dragoon? Dragoon is cool. Dragoons are dragoons.
I was lucky.
They are the cool dragon knights with the spears and the jump. Dragoon's a pet class? That's weird. Wait, but is it an actual dragon? Because that's... Ah, this is how Onion Knight met Terra. And Onion Knight is obviously copying Vaughn a bit. The dragon takes EXP from you and it counts as a party member? Weird. This one's just a cutscene. Let's watch it. It's a cool Vaughn Onion Knight interaction. Pot meet kettle, Vaughn. If you can't ride the dragon, what's the point? Ugh. I didn't even know about this. Vaughn is trying way too hard at this big brother shtick. Where you going, Onion? Literally just calling him Onion. Poor Onion Knight.
Hey, something wrong? You seem kind of down again today. Actually, you've been kind of down for a while now. If you've got a problem, just spit it out. Wait, don't tell me. You're still stewing over the other day. Training getting a little rough for you? You gotta let that stuff go.
Core RDM works? Interesting. Interesting. Interdestin.
The way I see it, sometimes you gotta lose. Huh? You have to take some falls before you can grow up. And once you're older, then you could show that guy who's boss.
I love how Onion Knight like isn't mad about losing to Warrior of Light.
No trouble taking anything he can throw at you.
He's just mad about Vaughn.
Come on. Just keep that in mind is all I'm saying. So, you feeling better now?
You really don't get it.
Look at you two. Always thick as thieves. It's almost like you guys are brothers or something.
You've got it all wrong, Laguna. We're not almost like brothers. We're exactly like brothers. Right?
Sucks to be us, huh?
Oh, Squall and Onion Knight
I
bonding
think I'm getting used
over
to it.
having to deal with Laguna and
Stuck with a brother
Vaughn's
like that.
dummery.
What else can you do?
An unclouded mind. A lot of these are just cutscenes, honestly. They just give you a little bit of... Oh, I love this conversation. This is Kane and Jack's thing, right?
Hey there, Sir Stands Alone.
Was there something?
Seriously, guys, listen to this. Watch this.
Nah, nothing in particular. Just saw you over here all by your lonesome. Thought you might.
You have to
need
do quests in 14 to unlock jobs, too.
How touching.
I wouldn't go that far. But since I'm here anyway, we need to chat about a thing or two.
Kane has such long hair. I'm surprised he can put it all under that helmet.
Nothing like that. It has to do with right now, with allies, with trust.
I wonder if I would look good with hair as long as Kane's.
Now don't go getting all grim on me.
Hum,
It
hum,
ain't
hum.
that serious. To put it bluntly, choosing to spend all this time by yourself ain't making you popular.
You think?
I wasn't trying.
It's a bit long.
It's not so much what you're trying or not trying.
It goes
to
all the
do,
way down between his shoulder
or how it
blades.
looks to all the others. Especially the younger ones. They take your actions the wrong way. If you let them simmer for too long, there'll be trouble.
There's been talk.
The things I've heard, man, you have no idea.
Is this some kind of jest?
Too obvious, huh? Okay, so that last bit was a joke. Nothing's really happened yet, but still, that doesn't change.
I've always just sort of had this hairstyle. I wonder what hairstyle would work best for me out of all hairstyles.
I don't have all the answers.
I don't know the first thing about like
Would it help
good
if
hair,
you tried
so
to fit in a little more? Maybe add to the banter, join in the laughter. That's all it'd take to put their little minds to rest. Well, I said all I came here to say. Guess I'll be off.
But yeah, Jack is so cool. He's such a cool dad figure. He's just like, hey, go hang out with people.
Your concern, I appreciate it.
Anytime.
A stylist. That's so fancy. That's so fancy. That's so ridiculously fancy, Gato. That sounds like such fancy person talk. Oh, I have a stylist. They do my hair for me. Okay, let's actually get back to the fighting. Ooh, new items in the catalog. Wait, have I got? Yes, Preach. Let's play a bit of Preach. Effortlessly creates original combos leading up to devastating finishes. That's right, it's Preach and she's a combo blitzer, and we now have all the characters. Heck yeah. Playable ones anyway. Awesome. Let's actually check the catalog. Does she have outfits? Custom Corsage Plus. It's cheap, so let's buy it. I mean, rather than some random stylist, like, if I was to, like, change my hairstyle, I would probably consult people I know, or just, like, my viewers. Like, run polls and stuff. I would need, this discussion has made me really be like, what would I look good in, like, hairstyle-wise? Alright, so let's do her customization. I have no idea who those people are because they're not Preach and they're not in Duodecim, and I've never played 11, so I don't know them. Combo 1, Combo 2, spinning attack. So yeah, her combos don't have a whole lot in the customizability at level 1. That's gonna change. And honestly, when I've played a bit of a slightly higher level Preach, I've really enjoyed it. She is, of course, a punch girl. She punch good. So we're gonna equip her with a physical thingamajig, and level 1 to 9. Attacking Bravery. Ah, an image, eh? I'll click it. Oh, this seems like a neat design. I may have seen her on some FFTCG card art. Summons. Ifrit. Set reserves. Yada yada. Assist. Change attack. Let's get Gilgamesh up in the mix. Up in the mixity mix. And her EX mode is the 5 lights. Enter commands shown in a clockwise fashion. Regen, critical boost. 100 fists. Chains up to 3 weapon skills. I mean, when it comes to an MMO, the picks do seem kind of random. Like, you look at FF14's reps, and it's Xenos and Y'shtola in NT.
Let's get it on!
Skill chain, liquefaction. Okay, so that's the cool thing, is that, like, Preach has these things called skill chains, and I'm not entirely sure how they work. But basically, the way her combos interact, like what finishes you put on what moves, it changes the combo effect. Which makes sense. Does she, though? She's only in there in her Conjurer form, And it's because they were like, oh, it's a team game, so we can add healers now. But I honestly like Y'shtola's not that like interesting as a I was not at all interested in Y'shtola in the slightest as a Scion. She might be the poster character in FF14, but like playing a Realm Reborn, she did not grab me at all in the slightest until Shadowbringers. Like no more than any other member of the team, essentially. She didn't stand out to me. Skill chain fusion. So having her be like, I'm sure she's super popular in Japan, but the Japanese have really weird taste and I don't trust them with anything, so like... I mean, you can't just trust what Japan likes. Auroral uppercut, let's go. I don't know. Oh, you go around the... You go around the thing. Sophisticated Catgirl sounds good in your book. I mean, sure, but like, I didn't get a lot of her personality from A Realm Reborn. Like, not until like, very close to the end of Stormblood did I get the level of sass that I suppose maybe might have been there all along. Listen, you gotta open your eyes. That's right! That's right, mortals! You can only trust my taste. You can only trust me. Because I should be your entire world. And if I catch you looking at anyone else, or listening to anyone else's opinions, there will be consequences. Okay? Dang it, Zidane! Damn, I'm too late. I hate that. I hate losing 66 bravery every other second. You're gonna die from my being a yandere? Why? It's just a goof. Tis only a jest. Worry not. She's got a bit more screen time if you count 1.0 back then, but I can't play... Listen, I can't play 1.0. It has zero value to me. He's so scared of a HP attack, he'll just let me kick him forever. I love it. See, mortals, this is what's gonna happen to you if you cross me. Just me kicking you all the way, forever. In a big circle. I just got EX broken.
What?
Maybe I'll do Yandere ASMR at some point if I ever do like an ASMR stream, if I ever get like the equipment for that. Because that would be fun, me trying and failing to do good Yandere. Yeah, I know 1.0 was weird and bad, that's why they made ARR. If it hadn't been bad, then they wouldn't have, you know. Actually, I should not be fighting Zidane. Zidane is a terrible opponent. I'm doing okay, though. Stop summoning. prior to ARR, but after 1.0 was actually pretty good. I honestly don't know what that is. I don't know much about 1.0. What? 1.x, rather. And Nail was way cooler than Gaius? You take that back! You take that back. You take that back. Gaius Van Baelsar is cool. I'll support Gaius Van Baelsar. Alright? Gaius Van Baelsar is cool. Alright, this is a Black Wolf of Garlemald friendly stream, okay? None of this 7th Legion nonsense, Final Fantasy VII bull.
This will be painful.
So the thing about Preach is she's highly customizable. So she has all these combos and you can just change how they work for her bravery attacks, and it's real fun. I honestly, I never touched 14 until Stormblood. At this point, I can't remember why I got into it, but I'm very glad I did. So I know, like because, and that was because, you know, I heard 14 was really bad. And it was an MMO, and I didn't really play MMOs, so. But then I played it, and it's like 100% Final Fantasy, so like, I'm like, now I have to play 11. Because no matter what, it will still be a Final Fantasy. Like, it counts. Unfortunately, they count. They're genuine. They're the real article. Did I ever visit the Sands or the Shack? What, in A Realm Reborn? Like in A Realm Reborn? In 14... 14 is my first MMORPG? Well, I dabbled, as any child does. Well, if you're talking about that one shack in, like, Limbs of Laminsa with the dude and the flies and whatnot, then yes. Anyway, I dabbled. I played WoW once on a... Like, made a character for one day, a dwarf character in WoW. On, like, when I was a very small child, like 4 or 5, on one of my older brother's accounts. What shack? What are you on about? Anyway, I played Pirates of the Caribbean Online for a little bit. As a free player. Wizard 101, you know? Kid MMOs. The failed ERP shack. What are you on about? What are you on about? Listen. Whatever goes on in your degenerate servers, I've heard talk, like... But that's not a thing I've ever had to, like, worry about and or deal with, okay? If y'all want to be degenerates on your data servers, okay? That's fine. That's your prerogative. I don't have to be involved. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. No, it's also, listen, Gyaru, it's almost certainly also a server thing. It's almost certainly also a server thing. But then I also believe that anyone who, like, publicly does erotic roleplay in the Final Fantasy XIV chat ought to be stoned to death, and they ought to thank the people stoning them.
Let me give you a hand.
I'll fall into the shadow.
I'll do it. I'll kill them all. Just say the word.
You lose, I win.
Just say the word. And I'll do it. Seriously though, it's stupid and it's stupid and gross and I don't care. Do it privately and on your own time.
The mighty Trish is here. Open your eyes.
Oh, dang it, Sephiroth. Yes, recover all of your... No, damn it.
Let me give you a hand.
Ah, Sephiroth. Dang it. I'm gonna kill you so hard the next time I play 7. How dare you do this to me? She doesn't have any good aerial downward moves yet. Sephiroth. Okay, so you all just saw me get attacked through the wall. Which is nonsense. You ever bet the Sephiroth will be in 14 by 7.0? What is that, the expansion after Endwalker?
You should have just walked away.
Can I get in on that? Can I get in on that action, actually? Can I, like, contribute to the pot? Because that actually sounds like a gamble that I would be interested in. Heck yeah. I'm a gambling man, I love a gamble. And they have added a lot of like iconic FF bosses, including Kefka, so and Xdeath, so like, maybe. However, we have hit 2.5 hours, and I am calling the stream. I'm calling it. Yes, I beat Endwalker. You can talk all about Endwalker spoilers to me privately. I am always up for discussing Endwalker spoilers to basically anyone ever. So, like, hit me up, you know. Hit me up, all of you mortals. And so the illegal FF14 betting pool was invented. It's not illegal. It's fine. Anyway. I gotta end the stream, because this is a weekday stream, and we can't go too long with weekday streams. So. Lots of long silver-haired people are being added. That's just the fact they just can't get away from the white hair color, okay? That doesn't mean they're all Sephiroth clones, okay? It's fine. But he still might show up. But probably not in Pandemonium, so like... Yeah, 7.1. I would have bet for 7.5. You're running a dangerous game. Anyhow, I need to find a raid target for all you lovely people. And once again, the only person live in my once again at this time, around this time, the only person who's like the only VTuber I follow who's live in my feed is Paperbag. So guess where y'all are going? Yeah, Gyara, I'll tell you why you're wrong privately later. But yeah. I'm not gonna have silver hair. That would be a Xehanort form of mine. Let me set up the raid, get you all the raid message, and then thank you all properly for like witnessing a stream that was mostly taught me rambling about the Final Fantasy series, and I'm an incredibly niche experience, aren't I? Let's hit the Staredo button. It was honestly like a lot of fun. I'll never not be grateful for the ability to just do something I could never do otherwise, which is just to go on a massive rant / conversation about Final Fantasy for like an hour, 2 hours. You guys are the best. You grant me an opportunity I would not have otherwise. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway. Oh, wait, I actually have to send you back at the... I've done it wrong. Quick. Hit all the buttons. Hit all the buttons right now. I know I always end my streams like this. There. Big Carmine. Big Carmine. Hello. I am the Big Carmine. Thank you all so much for coming. You wonderful, wonderful people. You wonderful, wonderful mortals, you. You're all wonderful people, wonderful mortals, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, or simply just rest. Now, I shall send you all through the portal to realms beyond, to realms reborn. Commence the unlimited Omega Reverse Umbral Shining World Majestic Incandescent Infernal Draconic Demonic Meteor Hellfire Raid. Farewell.